Hi, my name is Micah Thayard, and we are going to cover BlockChain 101. It's a tutorial aimed to teach the new person about Bitcoin and the technology that Bitcoin is based on, called BlockChain. And hopefully this presentation will be enough information for you to want to get more education on this particular technology. The reason I put this presentation together is we are working with a company called Trade Coin Club, where we are making money every day, Monday through Friday, by allowing this company and its software to trade our account on our behalf. And we are getting a very, very good return by allowing them to do that. And we are putting the information out there for you to know and understand what we're doing. And it all starts with this new technology that we know as blockchain, and perhaps what you would know as Bitcoin. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to move forward and share my screen. I need to find my file here real quick. Give me a second. Want to also introduce myself. My name is Micah Thayard. My life has been filled with different opportunities. I'm a person who's been involved in lots of businesses that you can work from home. I love entrepreneurship. I love to work with new ideas. And what you're about to learn today, I would say, is a incredible new technology. And probably after this presentation, you are going to be super excited about what's in store for us using this fantastic new technology, and also what Trade Coin Club can do for your future. So I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully you can see the presentation here. Let's scroll up to the beginning. Let's get started. I have to be honest, this is the second time I'm doing this today. I have a habit of repeating myself, and I wanted to get it more clean and more comprehensible for you. So my story with Bitcoin started in 2013 when I first heard the word, and I also understood there was something called mining Bitcoin, because that's what my friends wanted to do, and it sounded very foreign to me, and I didn't actually know what they were talking about. But in 2015, I ended up seeing a video from a person, and he was explaining how he was using Bitcoin as a way for him to take payment for consulting that he was doing with people in different countries. And he said it was much easier to do it this way than to do it with banks and money. And that's when I understood that something really unique was going on with this thing called Bitcoin. I then started to do my research, and the more I learned about it, the more fantastic this technology and this thing became. And before you knew it, I was absolutely enthralled, absolutely crazy about this new thing called Bitcoin. So what I would like to do is go back to the very beginning. Before 2008, they definitely were trying to create a digital currency that was independent from banks and governments. They wanted to do something that had integrity, so something that we could use instead of money, and be able to transact value through the internet, and to be able to trust that digital currency, that it was authentic and that it was not fraudulent. And the idea of being able to do that, and how that would work, was really what they were trying to solve. And then one day, a person by the name Satoshi Nakamoto, they thought, but turned out it was a pseudonym for what could be a man, a woman, a group of people. We don't know. They joke that it might be someone who's given us this technology, came from the future to give it to us, but they still remain anonymous. So I think I'm going to really kind of think about what it's like to not know what Bitcoin is, and try to speak to you in that way. Well, when you want to get anything, nowadays, usually it's going to be through using your local currency. If you want to get groceries, you're going to use dollars. And if you live in America, if you want to get a car, it's going to be dollars. Most of the time nowadays, you don't even have the bills. You don't have the paper. You actually do it through using, credit cards and things like that. But that's all we know, and that's what we trust. And I can understand that, everyone has used it their whole life, and they know it always works. They know it always has value. It's never failed them. So of course, the trust is going to be there. But you may also question why we would need something different. And what I think I want to present in this half hour is just give you some insights as to what could be better, and what actually is turning out to be better for those of us who are involved with Bitcoin. We are experiencing the advantages with this technology, and let's see if I can describe those advantages so that you understand how this technology really could end up being the future of money. At its core, Bitcoin is just a digital file that lists accounts and money like a ledger. A copy of the file is maintained on every computer in the Bitcoin network. These numbers have no real value. It only has value because people are willing to trade real goods and services and other currencies for a higher number in their account. The numbers only have value because we believe it has value, just like dollars, euros, yen, and all the other currencies, fiat currencies. So what happens when you want to do a transaction? You want to send money to another person. That's going to go between what we call a wallet, that's your wallet, to someone else's wallet. And what happens is when you actually click to do that transfer, a copy of that gets sent out to every computer in the network. You essentially advertise it to the world, and because it copies itself to all the other computers, those computers will see and look to see if that transaction is authentic by looking for other spending that you've done. And when they can't find another spend that you've done, they can confirm that that spend is authentic, and the amount that you sent will be deducted from your balance and be transferred over to the recipient's balance. And that's all it really is. Now, the part that is complex is the part that prevents people from cheating and stealing. And, the way that this blockchain Bitcoin has been built is so that we don't have to trust anyone. So just a basic understanding of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was written so that there will only be 21 million coins to come out of that program ever. It is scheduled to finish by 2140. So right now in 2017, we have about 16 million coins. Let me explain how this works. So in the beginning, there was just a concept and there was a software program that was set up to allow a person to go in, initiate a interaction with his computer and this program. It would start to essentially solve some math that this program was presenting, and the program would reward the computer or the miner with coins when that computer had solved certain mathematical equations. In the beginning, it was very easy for the computer to find these coins, and it could essentially get hundreds of coins on a weekly basis if the computer was set up to continuously work to solve the math that was in the program. Now, other people around the world can also attach themselves to the same program, and their computers would then also start to compete with the other computers to solve these mathematical equations faster than the others, and they were all rewarded with these coins. Every coin that came out of the program the next coin would be a little bit harder to find. So imagine these computers kind of looking through the program to find the coins, and it would get harder and harder and harder to find these coins. Today, if you want to be a miner, you can hook up a computer to the program, and it could be any laptop. However, because of the complexity that the program now has in finding these coins, it may take you, who knows, a year or 6 months or more to get one coin with a regular laptop. Nowadays, you have to have specialized gaming platform cards, and you really would spend a considerable amount of electricity running these computers just to get these coins out of the program. In the beginning, the coins were not really worth anything. They would mine these coins, and these guys who were talking with each other, they were talking about this and saying, well, one day in the future this could be money. And two guys decided that they were going to do a deal with the coins that their computers had been rewarded with. So one guy said, okay, if you send a pizza to my house, I will pay you 10,000 Bitcoins. So that was the first transaction, and those 10,000 Bitcoins have a value today of $16 million. Back then, they were only worth about 0.2 pennies per coin. And the value of Bitcoin from that point has gone from 0.2 pennies to over $1,600 a coin. And that value increase is really based on the demand of this coin, that people are willing now to pay that much for one Bitcoin. And it all supply and demand, a natural thing that's happened with this coin. Bitcoin is not owned by anyone. It is not controlled by anyone. It lives independently on the internet. There's no way to stop it. There's no way to really control it. You can pass laws about it, but people still use it. They still decide to be involved. And so it's been a very interesting experience that way. So that's all it really is. The part that's complex about Bitcoin is the part that really prevents people from cheating or stealing or counterfeiting or double spending. The way that it's built, it prevents anything like that to happen. So for you, what that means is if somebody sends you 1 Bitcoin and it goes into your wallet and you see that number there in your wallet that you have a Bitcoin, you can know for sure that you have one. And you know for sure if today's value is $1,600, that you can go on to an exchange and you could sell that Bitcoin and you can get $1,600 in cash. That's what you can trust, and that's what you know, and that's why Bitcoin has become such a big thing. Real quick, money has changed throughout time. In the beginning, we were trading really real things with each other, eggs and chicken and wheat and wood and, services and all that against other things. But we needed something to make it simpler. So we always sort of used a medium. And I know a lot of people can know that we did use precious metals. Back in the day when we used precious metals, they were being traded back and forth, but it was very dangerous to keep it all on your person. So they put them in banks, and they would have receipts for the gold that you had. And before you know it, they were transferring, these receipts between each other. And that's how people started to accept, paper as money. But it was always representing real gold. And then back in 1933, they decided to actually end that system, and what we were left with was basically paper, and coins. And obviously a printed piece of paper doesn't have any real value. It doesn't really have value, right? But it represents value because we believe it does. So when we transfer these pieces of paper between each other, we trust that we're going to be able to use that same piece of paper to get what we want. Then they started to use, plastic cards. It took 50 years actually for people to accept, credit cards fully. And now we also have Apple Pay, which is fully digital. We got Venmo and PayPal, all fully digital money, but it's all based on the same thing. Dollars is controlled by a third party. It's controlled by the banks. It's controlled by the government. And when we keep our money in the bank is actually using our money. It's not actually controlled by us. It's controlled by a third party. So that's kind of what changes with Bitcoin. And those are there are things that we really love about Bitcoin. And that is the reason why 1 Bitcoin is worth $1,600 today, is because people are attracted to something new, something that, a third party can't decide that they want to add $1 billion to the money supply. It's fair for everyone. No one has the power to make more Bitcoin in any other way than what they have to do by spending money on a mining facility and electricity and try to get this coin out of the program. There's no way around that. It's a limited supply, so that gives it more value. Over time, it's going to increase the value because demand always increases. You have full control of your own account. So you can have a Bitcoin account, which is called a wallet. Whether you have $5 in that wallet or if you had $100 million in that wallet, no one would know the difference except you. So your asset is completely private. You can send that anywhere in the world at a fraction of the cost of sending money without any red tape or any hassle. It's up on your discretion how much you send. And when you send it, it only costs you pennies, whether it be $10 million or $10. In this system, we don't need banks. We don't need any Visa cards or ATMs. We don't have to ask for any permission to open an account. There's no lines that we wait in. There's no overdraft fees or, have to argue with bank tellers over the phone. And it's also out of reach from anyone who tries to forcefully take it from you. We touched on supply and demand. When Bitcoin was released, it was released as an open source technology, something that any person with computer experience could actually copy, and they could make their own coin if they wanted to. So, and that's what they've done. Other people have created versions of, say, Bitcoin using blockchain technology. We call those other coins altcoins, which stands for alternative coins. And, you have Ethereum, you got Ripple, you have Litecoin, you have Monero, you have so many, hundreds and hundreds of them. Some of them are worth money. Some of them are not worth really anything, maybe a fraction of a penny. Some of them never will make it, and many of them will. Many of these coins that are coming out now are having market capitalizations of several $billion. Many claim that they're a better coin than Bitcoin, but what we can kind of determine at this point is Bitcoin's going to be relevant. It's going to continue to stay as a central figure. We think it has billions of dollars of infrastructure that has been built to facilitate the practical use of Bitcoin. So that still favors Bitcoin. And it represents maybe 60% of the market share right now. 60% of the capitalization still stays with Bitcoin. 40% is the combined value of all the other coins. Bitcoin was programmed to only have about 21 million coins. Right now there's 16 million, still a limited supply. If you've ever discussed supply demand, you know that anything that people want or that people are using that doesn't have a lot of supply, it's very easy for that value to increase. And we recently had, for instance, Japan, who announced as a country that they're officially making Bitcoin an official currency in that country. So now we could have another 126 million people who will eventually get involved in Bitcoin, and that's going to also increase the value of Bitcoin. So if you think that Bitcoin's value had reached its top, I think we are far from the top of what a Bitcoin could be worth in the future. Companies are also starting to realize that they can use Bitcoin to transfer money across the world. There's trillions of dollars of money transfers happening every year that essentially could end up being moved over to Bitcoin and all other altcoins, and that will impact the value of those as well. So you right now have less than 1% of the world involved in this industry. If we got the world to say 3% of the world using this industry, the numbers and the increase of value of these coins could explode, and $1,000 worth of one coin today could be $1 million worth of a coin as this starts to happen. So the industry is exceptionally exciting because of that. One thing really mention is that, if I decided to open a DVD store today, it would be a very bad idea because no one wants DVDs anymore. And that's because of technology. They figured out how to store movies in a memory chip. And when that happened, basically, we ended the need for DVDs and CDs. And when you think about it, a person who ran Blockbuster Music, why did they not invest in a platform like Netflix? The technology was there. They saw it happening. They knew it was coming. But for some reason, they didn't get it. And so maybe in this presentation, you might want to look at Bitcoin as a competitor to the American dollar and ask yourself, what happens to the value of the American dollar when you have a better technology? When people wake up one morning and say, well, I don't want to go to the bank anymore because I can use Bitcoin at the store, I can use Bitcoin wherever I shop or whatever I do, I can pay my bills with it. Why do I need the American dollar? And that may be something that's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years. and we may see a gradual loss of value in the American dollar, or we may see a complete implosion of the American dollar from one day to the next. We don't know, but what we do know is the Bitcoin and altcoins, blockchain, is actually more efficient, a better technology, a better solution than money. So it's very interesting to see what could happen. You know, back in 1933, what they did is they ended the gold tie with money. So money was really, people sold their gold for paper. And so now all dollars, that's all they are. It's just paper. So that's why we're a little bit concerned, I would say, about what could happen to the value of the dollar, since it's not actually tied to anything that's remotely real. You know, a piece of paper is a piece of paper, and unless we want that piece of paper and use it, unless we need to use it for our transactions, it really doesn't have any value. So that's why it's a really maybe important thing to start becoming part of the cryptographic money instead of paper money. Okay. So really, you know, blockchain and Bitcoin can't be stopped. Some people say, well, what happens if, you know, if one day people just stop using Bitcoin, or one day all the value of Bitcoin disappears? Well, I can't think of a scenario where it does, because there's so many people involved. There's so many people who believe that Bitcoin is worth $1,600 today. Even if it went back to $1,000, I don't think Bitcoin will ever lose its appeal, because there's nothing that would be able to replace at this point that we see that would be better. So we have a technology that already is better than the old technology. And so we don't really see any way that this will be stopped, or any way that it won't happen. Blockchain is not just a replacement of currency. Blockchain is much more than that. When I mention altcoins, these altcoins are not just presented as an alternate currency or value transfer. They presented to solve many, many, many problems that we've had in our world. So it could decentralize companies. So it would take away that company that gets so big that it ends up owning everything. You know, this technology could decentralize, and companies will actually come to the scene that will do things that we are used to, like a YouTube, for instance, could be decentralized. You know, have YouTube without the ownership or the censorship, for instance. Uber without the central company where, you know, these rides are happening, but it's an interaction between the driver and the passenger without the company, but you have the technology there to facilitate that arrangement. You know, all contracts could be done in a blockchain so that you can't alter the contracts. All accounting could actually be automatic through blockchain. Your real estate, your property deeds could be in a blockchain. Your will could be put into a blockchain and auto execute at your passing. Essentially, the entire internet could be placed into a blockchain. But hey, listen, this is it's already a lot of information. So that's all I'm going to share about that. All right, let's go to the next page. So in our next video, I'm going to go over some of the websites. So the first thing that you want to know, obviously, is how do I own a Bitcoin? Or how do I get ownership of part of a Bitcoin? Because you don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin for $1,600. You can literally buy $10 worth of a fraction of a Bitcoin. And I think that probably is the best advice that I can give to somebody who's interested in this and wants to know more, is they go out and buy $10 worth of a Bitcoin, which they can very easily do at Coinbase.com. I'll show you guys the website where I'm doing mining. I'm mining an altcoin called Ethereum. I'm also buying and selling Bitcoins with other coins on Bittrex. That's a platform where I can basically buy and sell Bitcoins, almost like E-Trade, but this is for crypto coins. CoinMarketCap is a website where you can do research on all of these different coins. BitPay is where you can order a debit card that you can use to spend Bitcoin in stores and just the way you use a regular debit card. BlockChain.info is where you can set up a wallet. Cointelegraph.com is where you get all the information about the industry. It's a blog, it's a news site. And then Trade Coin Club is where you could start with just 1/3 of a Bitcoin and work your way up to several Bitcoins by allowing Trade Coin Club to trade your coins on your behalf using their software. And they have not lost money for any of their clients for over 5 months now. Any day, there's no day that they have lost money for any of their clients for 5 months. So who knows? We don't know what's going to happen with the old money, and we don't know what's going to happen with the value of the dollar. But what we do know is that Bitcoin is better than dollars. Bitcoin has obviously gone from less than a penny to over $1,600 a coin in 8 years. So if you put all your money that you had in 2008 in Bitcoin, if that was $1,000, you would be worth over $100 million today. That same $1,000 in your bank account would still be worth probably only $1,000. So we know that Bitcoin is doing much better than the money that we've used, but most people just don't know what it is. So will this old money system collapse? I think there is a big chance, if you really look at what this is, that you can confirm that we're going to have a huge change in how we do things when it comes to money. And it's very advisable to get involved in Bitcoin as a result of understanding that. Trade Coin Club is a great way to do that. We do have a full presentation where we can show you how that works. Essentially, all it is we are allowing them to trade our coins, our Bitcoins, with other coins. Every day, they do millions of transactions. This system is capable of doing millions of transactions a second, microtransaction. It's buying and selling these coins faster than you can blink. And they have a stop loss of less than 0.5%. They're usually making me about, on average, 1.2% per day. And if you take 2 Bitcoin over the next 2 years, you could turn those 2 Bitcoins in based on what I've seen them do in the last month and a half. It would turn into about 30 Bitcoins in about 2 years. So it's an extremely profitable program. Please ask the person who asked you to watch this for more information on that. So what's next for you? Well, we have another video we're going to do where we show these websites so you can get familiar with some of the places that you'd want to be familiar with in your learning curve here with blockchain. But if you can go to www.blockchain101.me, there is a video there that explains Trade Coin Club. There's also a questionnaire where you can answer some questions for us. You can also leave your information so you can get more information on some of these other coins that are really exciting as an investment opportunity. And you can rate our presentation, which you can do on there. And I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this. I hope that it was worth your time. And if you do pursue and go further, I think this could be one of the most important presentations that you've ever seen. Thank you very much, and look forward to having you part of what we're doing. Look forward to having this industry be part of your life as well. Thank you.